Hey friends! All right, this week we are going to be doing a project that uses something called perspective. And a lot of you probably heard me talk about this in class, but if you haven't, what perspective is it's something that gives a 3D image to a flat surface. So it makes it look a lot more realistic. And what happens is that objects that are further away in the picture, they appear smaller. And then the objects that are closer to us, they're a lot larger. Okay, so the project that we're going to be doing is a desert landscape. And what the tools that I used were a black marker, regular markers, and crayons. And I used both of those because I like to make, different parts pop out. That's what I use the marker for, to kind of give it an extra pop. So I wanted, some focus to be on the mountains, and you can see that I outlined some of the edges with markers. So that's what I'm going to be using the markers for. And then the crayons I use to color in the different shapes and then the sky. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do, just to get an idea of where I'm gonna draw everything, is I'm going to take my paper and I'm gonna fold it hot dog style. So I'm gonna fold it right down the middle, open it back up, and then I'm going to fold it hamburger style. So this is going to give me 4 different sections. And you can use a pencil. I'm going to use my black marker just so that this video is not too long and that you can see it better. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my large cactus. So down here, close to the bottom, I'm going to do kind of not too much of a smile line, but just a slightly curved line, and that's going to be right in the middle of this bottom box towards the bottom. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up past the halfway point on my paper, about halfway up this top box, and then I'm going to come back down. But before I get to the center, about an inch up from this center line, I'm gonna stop, and I'm going to make this little arm of the cactus. So I'm going to come in with a curve like that, come back up, just like that. Then I'm going to hop over that and continue my line right down to the bottom. Okay, next I'm going to do my arms on my cactus. Those are going to start underneath that fold line. So they're going to start down here, come up, and then this side, and probably start it just a little bit lower so it doesn't run into this guy. I'll start right here, come up, and back down into the side. Then I'm going to put some lines in this cactus. Just a couple on the arms. Just kind of follow the curves that are already there. Same with this guy right here. And then I'm going to do some lines that come down from the top. And then if you run into this arm, you can just hop right over it. Okay, so I have the first one done. Now I'm going to come over to this side of the paper, and I'm going to come up a little bit, about right here. I'm going to follow my finger over, and I'm going to make a smaller smile line. And then I'm just gonna come straight up past the fold in my paper. Now, look at the difference between this one and this one. Notice this one's gonna be further in the distance. That's why I'm making it shorter and skinnier, okay? So the further they are in the distance, they're gonna be shorter and skinnier. So now I'm gonna do the arms. They're gonna be much skinnier than this one. Come up like that. On this side. So there I have another cactus. And I'm gonna do some lines on this one. So now you can see my base here is further down the page. I went further up the page for this one that's in the distance. So now I'm gonna do a little one up here, but I have to go even further up to the page to do its base. So I'm just gonna do just a little tiny smile line right there. Come up. This one's even skinnier, like that. All right, so I got one here, and then a little tiny one up here. And this tiny one is just going right over the center line. I'll just put one line in there. All right, so now we have our cactuses done, and we are going to make the landscape. So the first line I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start right here. And I'm going to draw a line, and this is kind of a shaky line. It's not going to be perfect. And then I'm going to skip over, and then I want my line to come out and go right into the side of the bottom of this cactus. Then I'm going to skip over this cactus, go into the side of this, skip over, and then if you have any space over here, let's see, it might look like that. There you go. So it's coming right behind the cactus. Remember, if you run into it, just hop over it, continue your line. All right, now I'm gonna make another line in the landscape. So that's going to start close to this one, but it's gonna kind of slant down. Hop over the cactus, and it's going to go into the side of the page. I'm going to come over here and do a third line that starts right about here, and this is going to come and go kind of down towards the bottom corner. All right, so I have my landscape lines. Now I'm going to do the mountains that are in the back. So remember, anytime I run into the cactus, I hop over it. I'm drawing behind it. These mountains are behind it. So I'm gonna start like that, imaginary line, come down maybe. So just kind of a jagged line to represent the mountains in the back. Then I'm gonna come up here and do some clouds. These are gonna be kind of flat little desert clouds, so flat bottom. Maybe a little guy up here. And one along here. Nice flat bottom. All right, So now we are ready to color it in, and I'm going to speed up the video. So if you need to pause it, feel free to pause it at any time.